In this video, I'm going to be philosophizing on positive, meaningful emotion, specifically regarding mind-brain connections and how we can cultivate self-conduct in association with connecting the mind and body and calibrations of transformations that are operating within the nervous system through mind-brain connections. Positive, meaningful emotions always develop from the existing prior created meanings in affect as we're engaging our direct perception of our subjectivity. And when we're talking about positive, meaningful emotion, we're talking about the interconnectedness of mind and body. And so if you were to peer into the brain and get a measure of its different metabolic functions in terms of the heating and cooling of different areas of the brain, there would be increased metabolic function across many different areas of the brain. And this can be done using fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging technologies that allow for the processing of meaningful information through information processes of different technologies that we can use to be able to access more easier to access knowledge regarding the transformations and increase and decrease of metabolic function association with the different regions of the brain. And as certain regions engage more metabolic consumption, there is a heating up of the process in which there's more what's called directed information, and in specific more meaningfully directed information processes that have specific functions to them associated with our perception, action, and or behavior that is well defined. And so certain perception, action, and or behavior, say you're modeling something with modeling clay and you're trying to create the sky raptor of multicolored feathers, that you're modeling an eagle, the bald eagle, and yet as you're modeling, you're taking on different ideas in association with what had started as the bald eagle but is now the brilliant sky raptor of a analogous color array, which allowances for different areas of the brain to, at different regions, connect different associations associated with increased metabolic function that's associated with those transformations within mind body associated with the cultivation of positive meaningful emotion from prior existing meaning in affect. So maybe you started off with this foggy idea that you wanted to model an eagle because you took interest in some features of it. Maybe you had come to recognize in a photograph and you thought, hey, maybe I can shape that into existence. And so you take some modeling clay that you have laying around with a few different colors and you start to put it together. And as you're doing that, you're starting to think about different combinations of the colors and how they're reminding you of different things, and it sort of starts to take on a new form. And so you develop it into this unique creative project in which you're developing this new creative eagle, a new species of eagle from the intrinsic properties of the eagle, and yet has unique properties to it. So it could be categoricalized as a unique type of eagle that's emergent from your imaginative processing, that you're engaging the cultivation of prior existing meanings in affect that start from these small tidbits of positivity and can expand into more positive, meaningful emotion, and which in that process, you would see increased metabolic activity connecting different regions of the brain with some more meaningful associations and meaningful convergences in which you're engaging in reciprocal dynamical relational processes, connective of the sets of meaningful information, that allowance for meaningful emotion cultivation in the limbic system, and which you're going to see more activation also across the frontal cortex, and not just the orbito-prefrontal cortex or the medial prefrontal cortex, but all of the frontal cortex, as that's where we tend to develop the meaning associations associated with complex processing of creativity, as we're engaging in intrinsic creativity, intrinsic innovativeness, and intrinsic inventiveness. All of those engage multiple regions of the brain, and this allowances for the development of new and different ideas in association with perception, action, and or behavior that's domain specific. So you can engage in specific perception, action, and or behavior that seems consistent and is meaningfully similar, yet allowances for new and or different ideas to emerge and to be developed, even engaging in just playing around with modeling clay. You can create different ideas from that, which have different perception, action, and or behavior. And that's all I want to say for this video. I hope you have an awesome one. Keep developing those episodes.